If a normal Super Mini isn't going to be practical enough for you, then take note, because the Nissan Note, you see what I did there, could be the perfect car for you. The tall body means there's absolutely acres of headroom. There's even enough for someone like Peter Crouch. Now, you might find knee room a bit limited, but you can slide the rear seats back. Then even he'd be able to stretch out his long, lanky, spindly legs. But if you need more boot space, you can just slide them forward again.
But the Note's load area isn't only well sized, it's also very flexible.
There's lots of practicality here in the front too. I mean, there's more secret pockets than you'll find in a magician's jacket. I mean, look. And in the air-conditioned glove box, there's room for
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
13 drinks cans.
However, there's more to like about this car than just practicality.
One of the first things you notice when you drive the Nissan Note is that it's surprisingly good fun. I mean, it goes around corners really, really well, and there's lots of grip. That's because it's got quite firm suspension. But don't worry, that doesn't mean that it's uncomfortable. It actually deals with bumps in the road extremely well. It's only the very worst potholes that bother it. Also, it's quite quiet, which is handy if you're the kind of person who needs to go up and down the motorway quite a bit. The Note is also really good round town. I mean, all the controls, they're nice and light, and you've got great all-round visibility. Plus, you sit quite high, which means you can see over some of the traffic. And because it's very narrow, it's really easy to fit through tight gaps, and I'll just demonstrate that here. You have to excuse me, I'll just put in this wing mirror and I'll get that one in. And that brings me on to this Nissan's downsides, because the trade-off for that narrow body is, if you just follow me into here, you'll see there's not really room for 3 abreast in the back there, not even for children. Now, I'll just open this door to show you some of the other problems. And you might find it difficult to get comfy in the front if you're either very big or very small, because you can't actually adjust the height of the driver's seat. This lever basically just alters the angle of the base, which isn't particularly useful. Also, there's not much adjustment in the steering wheel. You can only alter it for rake, not for reach. And I have to say that some of the spec levels are a little bit mean. For instance, you have to go to the mid-spec car if you want air conditioning, and you only get ESP anti-skid control on the very top spec model. And finally, while the Note is extremely well built, some of the plastics feel a little bit cheap. But you might be willing to overlook these shortcomings if you're after a car that offers you something more than a Super Mini, or won't be too much of a shock to the system if you're having to downsize from something larger.